Hi folks. Well, I know by now you've already heard about the latest Adobe updates to Lightroom and Photoshop and the rest of the Creative Cloud applications, but it might be a good idea before you push the button to update to back up your custom brushes, presets, actions, things like that. And then when you do update, it'll be easy to essentially restore your workspace and all your custom stuff to what you had before the update. So let me show you real quickly how to save your custom brushes and actions, for example, from Photoshop, and also how to back up your Lightroom presets before you do the update. You'll want to go to back up your brushes. You'll want to go to the Edit menu and then down to Presets, Preset Manager. And under Preset Manager, the default is to show your presets, brush presets. And you can either rearrange these to put them in the order that you want in your brush picker, or in the case of backing up your brushes, any custom brushes in particular, you can select them by clicking and then holding down the Shift key to click the last brush in the range. So let's see, this would be my last custom brush. So I have this whole part of the first row and second row selected here. We'll choose Save Set from this menu and give it a name. We'll just call it John's Custom Brushes. I'm going to call it PSCC 2015. Now I have a folder on my hard drive called Photoshop Brushes, Textures, Actions, things like that, outside of Photoshop, where I have saved all the brushes and things that I've gathered over the years, created, actions that I've created, purchased, all that kind of stuff. So I keep them outside of the Photoshop folder and just have a link to it here in the sidebar in my Finder windows. So I'm going to save this custom brush preset there. I have a folder called Brushes, and normally I arrange them based on type of brush. Let's see, I don't think I have a folder for my custom brushes, so I'm just going to drop it in there for now. I can rearrange it later. Click Save, and now I've backed up my brushes. So when I update to the new version of Photoshop, to install those brushes, there's a couple ways you can do it. You can either go to that folder and simply double click on the .abr file that you just created. That's a Photoshop brush file. Or you can go to the brush picker, choose the gear icon here, and choose Load Brushes from the flyout menu. Navigate to that folder where you store all of your Photoshop brushes and actions and all that stuff. And you'll see here in the Brushes folder, I have the custom brush that I just created. It's a brush set, so it's all the ones that I'd selected before I saved. And I would just click Open, and that will add them to my brush picker. Now note that when you add new brushes or load brushes to your brush picker, it adds them to the end of the brush picker. So if you want to bring them back to the top for any reason, you want to arrange them, again, you would do that sort of the same way you exported it by going to Edit, Presets, Preset Manager, and then you can select your brushes, which will be again at the end of the brush picker here, and you can simply drag them to where you want them to appear in your brush picker order. So the ones that you use frequently, you put them up near the top so you don't have to do a lot of scrolling. And then as you add and remove brushes from the brush picker, you just don't bother removing the ones that are near the top. So that's a great way to quickly rearrange your brush picker. Now for actions, it's important to know that you can only save sets of actions. You can't save individual actions. So for example, I've created an action here that's my color grading process, involves a couple of steps and stuff. I saved it as a custom action. I've saved it in an action set called John's Actions. It's just where I put the ones that I create myself. I cannot export or save this individual action. I can only save action sets. So when I save this, it's going to save all of the actions here that are in this particular set. So to save an action, you're going to choose the action set that you want to save. We'll go to the flyout menu in the Actions panel and choose Save Actions. And just like we did with saving brushes, we're going to give it a name, call it John's Actions, PSCC 2015, or if you've created sets based on the type of action, maybe they're color correction actions, maybe they're special effect actions or whatever, you give it a name that's meaningful. And I save those in the same folder that I've created for all of my Photoshop brushes and that kind of stuff. I have an Actions subfolder there, and I would just drop it right in here. Click Save. And away we go. And similarly to reloading brushes, so when I update my Photoshop and I want to reinstall my custom actions if I ever need to, I can do it sort of like I did with brushes. I can go to the flyout menu in the Actions panel, choose Load Actions, or I could simply double-click on the .atn file that I created and saved here. So this here's John's Actions, the one I just saved, .atn. I could double-click that just from the Finder or the File Explorer window. And because a .atn file is a Photoshop action, the only program that's going to do anything with that is Photoshop. It's going to load it right into your Actions panel. But remember, the key thing with saving actions is that you're saving a set of actions. You can't save an individual action. So you may want to organize your Actions panel accordingly. That's it for the Photoshop updates. Let me show you where your Lightroom presets and such, your custom stuff in Lightroom, lives on your computer, so you can back that up before you update Lightroom. Get to the Lightroom presets folder. You can dig through your hard drive to get there manually, but what I found is easier is simply to go to the Lightroom preferences. So on the Mac, you'd go to the Lightroom menu, choose Preferences. If you're on a Windows machine, you'll find Preferences under the Edit menu. When you open your Preferences dialog box, click on the Presets tab, and then you can click on the button that says Show Lightroom Presets folder. And that's going to open up that folder on your hard drive. It's going to take you to the Lightroom Applications Support folder. And your presets are all listed in, or all live in that Lightroom folder buried on your hard drive. So rather than dig through it to get there, it's easier, frankly, just to use the Preferences shortcut to get you to that folder. But this folder is the one you want to back up, this Lightroom folder. There are a number of subfolders in there, like Develop Presets and Print Templates and maybe Export Presets and things like that that you may have created. You want to back all those up anyway, so may as well just go ahead and back up this whole Lightroom folder. And there you have it. It's a good idea to do all of this sort of thing before you update with any major updates to the Adobe products. That way, if for whatever reason your custom stuff doesn't come across automatically when you update, it's easy to reinstall.